Life Audio.
Michael, tell me, that's my opening speech. Tell me what you have to say about that. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, first of all, Jeff, thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it. This is a really interesting moment, as you were just laying out so eloquently, for all of us, because the enemies of everything that we hold sacred are no longer making a significant distinction between Protestants and Catholics and the various camps within those denominations or within Catholicism. And I think it's very important for us to realize this, that we need to have conversations. So basically what we do now is we haven't reinvented the wheel. We're faithful, loyal Catholics. I go to Mass every Sunday.
Yep.
We're just basically trying to live the faith and defend the faith as it was handed down literally from our fathers. We haven't changed anything. We're just traditional Catholics who believe in the traditional teachings of the Church, liturgy of the Church, something which we now see as the Church gets attacked so vigorously, and from within, not just from the outside. We have really terrible people running our church right now, in my opinion, who don't resemble true Catholics as they should, in my opinion. I humbly submit that they don't. It's been going on for a long time, but especially since Vatican II, and then it really reached a fever pitch with the arrival of Pope Francis, who of course is a very much of a globalist, modernist pope who has no interest whatsoever in what we do, which is to try to preserve the traditions of our faith.
Yeah, well said. And tell me, go ahead and you can start listing them and come back to them, or just go one by one and break them down. Tell me what you think the biggest threats to the Catholic faith are right now. Here's what I see overseas. This is interesting because I deal with persecution all over the world, right? And I've seen every game around the globe with dictators, despots, and all the political games. And so, around the world, what you see is this game where a dictator says, we have religious freedom. But now what that means practically is that you can think anything you want in your home. Don't bring it into the public square. Don't express it, and don't spread it. So that is what's going on. That's the attack, the same attack that's happening in the West. And that the left has even accepted this and said that that's a good and right thing. And too many pastors, so it's pastors, bishops, all of them, that are kowtowing to this and feeling the pressure and afraid of getting canceled, and without a mindset that we're supposed to be a revolutionary force in this world. We're supposed to be, at a certain level, not in hatred, but at a certain level, we're supposed to be at war with the world.
Whereas Archbishop Vigano, who is the whistleblower, ends up getting excommunicated by the Vatican for saying of Pope Francis, well, man, I'm not sure if this guy's even the Pope because he won't act like a Pope. You know what I mean? So it's there's all sorts of Catholic theology in here that my Catholic friends and I might disagree on over Archbishop Vigano, but for somebody looking in from the outside, it's just a massive scandal. They just look in, an evangelical just looking from the outside. What? The Vatican got rid of Archbishop Vigano, the whistleblower? Who does that? Nobody does that, but they excommunicated him, So it really is a teaching moment for how high the corruption goes in the Catholic Church. And they have all sorts of great excuses for why it happened like this. But most people aren't paying attention to those excuses. They're just looking at what happened. And it's a huge scandal. So that's the one thing I would say in defense of my church, and praise God, there are so many bishops and cardinals that are coming forward now, and they're saying, hang on a second, this is not right, So we have an infiltration at the very top at the moment under Pope Francis. I hope and pray that he converts. I hope all your audience will do the same, that he wakes up in time. But in the meantime, we have really, really powerful bishops and cardinals who are calling him out, and I think that's another sign that God is with his church, and we continue to hope and pray for the best there as well.
Yeah, and the I keep butchering his name because I'm saying Vigano, but tell me again the pronunciation.
Archbishop Vigano, yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Thank you. He was, and you tell me, but my understanding was he was always a prophet. He was always trying to restore the church because, for instance, with financial mess too, he was just a force for righteousness. Yeah, and to see him silenced, it's heartbreaking. But again, there's no stones to be thrown here. It's like, this is politics. This is the way of the world. This is the way of, and the devil is always infiltrating. He's always attacking. He's always attacking.
Exactly right. I would encourage your readers, I think from a Protestant point of view, evangelical point of view, it's just as fascinating as from the Catholic point of view, to look up something called the Catacombs Pact, or the Pact of the Catacombs. Absolutely look this up. because herein is where you find a decision that was made and an event that took place in 1965 underneath the street. It sounds like something out of a Dan Brown movie, or novel, but it's true.
Yeah, and I think maybe to turn the conversation on its head a little, because we've been looking at threats, but what's the need? And what I'm hearing from you, I haven't heard the word yet, but in evangelical circles, we're just constantly saying, I'm constantly banging the drum. We just need revival, and the Lord wants His people, their hearts to be revived.
Yeah.
He wants His people's hearts to be devoted to Him, and to be fully given over, and to say that the world system has nothing for me. It can't. We all need a little money. We need this, but there's nothing. You've gone on a few decades, so there's nothing it can offer you of substance. And so we desperately. You think about who He is. He everywhere His river goes, He heals. He brings to life. He raises the dead, and He regenerates. That's His force. And so He's constantly wanting to work through us and to pour into the world around us, because the dead are all around us, and they're desperately afraid of death. And yet we are kowtowed because of career and all these different things and wanting to fit in. And it's like our hearts and our churches need revival.
Absolutely. Well said. It's so true. And the only thing I would add to that is let's stop playing the victim all the time.
Life Audio.